If you're having trouble with 3-star expert mode of the Sorted Shrines, let me show you how to keep you and your party alive through all the bosses in it. Keep in mind that this is purely my way of tanking. There are many other methods out there, some may be worse, some may be better. For Clawmaster Buri, take the aggro of not only the boss, but also the 3 magicians surrounding him. You want to prevent them from going on anybody but you so they don't walk away from the group. This way they can be AoE'd and be killed much faster. Pull the mages together as soon as you can. Very frequently the boss will spray a toxic splurge to a random party member. It deals damage over time and a monster emerges out of it. It's good to have your party members spread out to make it easier to dodge. The cast time of it is pretty long, so if you're in comms, it helps to tell people when this is happening. Anytime he raises his hook, get ready to dodge or use light shield. He will use hook drag, which deals a ton of damage and is often followed by a spin attack. If you don't have the HP to tank it, your only option is to dodge it. If your party members are too close, there's a good chance the boss will use hook drag on them too. When he leaps backwards and raises his butt, he will charge forward. If he charges when you're distracted, as you can see I am right now, he'll take a huge chunk of your HP or kill you. If your party takes too long, he'll go into rage mode. When he's enraged, he hits a lot harder, and you're better off kiting him until he's down. The next boss is really more of a mini boss, but can wipe you just as easily if you don't know what you're doing. If you can kill these 4 mages before the timer hits 0, no boss will spawn. But if you cannot, you'll have to deal with the Flame Lord. His attacks are pretty easy to catch. When he raises one hand, he'll damage the area around his flail. When he raises both hands, a line of fire will shoot in front of where his weapon lands. Every once in a while, he will lift up his left foot and do a forward stomp. All you have to do is move back around 5 meters. It's honestly a pretty simple fight, just keep all of his attacks facing forward and away from your party. Do keep in mind that your whole party will have a DOT debuff that gets stronger over time, so it's best to pump in as much DPS as you can. The final boss, Demon Urgon, is where a lot of people tend to have difficulties, as it's heavily reliant not only on tank positioning but also a heavy DPS. When you first engage, Urgon sends 3 small clubs to surround you, leaving a damage over time debuff. This can be cleansed by a Spiritshaper or Occultist. He'll cast this many times throughout the fight. When he pushes his club to the ground, rising clubs will damage every party member. Next is the 2-layer whip. If you stay in the innermost circle, you will take the least amount of damage. When he crouches to the ground, a red expanding circle will appear around him. The closer you are to Urgon, the more damage you take. Make sure your party members are more than 20 meters away from Urgon to avoid getting hit. If you stay in the innermost circle, you're very likely to die. If he leaps backwards and holds up his club, he will charge towards you. Right after charging, he'll swing his club, so wait until that's over to get back on him. When he shoots out tiny flames on the ground, it will only damage you if you're not close to him. If that is the case, just jump over them. When he lashes at you like this, just move from side to side. Every so often, Urgon will call for reinforcements and waves of adds will spawn. First wave is 1 add, and for every new wave, the number of adds that spawn increases by 1. These adds hit hard and in 1 to 2 star can be kited for a long time. But in 3 star, they gain a speed buff after some time. A party member has to kite them through huge balls of fire that spawn on the boss every time he loses 10% of HP. Doing this gets rid of both the add and the fire. Avoid being on this fire because it deals a lot of damage. What you should do is tank him on one side of the room, then when his fire spawns, move him across to the other side. You want to keep him over 20 meters from the fire so that the person kiting the adds through it will not be hit by the whip or the expanding circle. If you go over 20 meters from him, he will jump to you to stun. Before I start with this boss fight, I usually put on 3 points into Wormweed's Arcane art so it gives 50% move speed. It helps with moving across the room and positioning the boss really quickly. I will warn you though, if you have low HP, don't use this to run away from him, because you'll want to use Wormweed to shrug off his stun. As I said, it's heavily reliant not only on the position, but also the DPS. If you lack DPS, your party will not spawn balls of fire fast enough to get rid of all of the ads. They will kill your kiter, then run straight to the next guy. If you as a tank are doing everything I've talked about, you're staying alive and your party is dying from the ads, then it's likely that the DPS is lacking either from gear or even perhaps people not knowing proper rotations. And as I said before, this guide is just one way of beating 3-star expert mode. If you have better ways of doing some of these things, please let me know, I'm always looking to improve. As always, thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.